That night was supposed to be one of those friend gatherings we all knew well. At least that's what I thought. Alexander had come home. A bit tired from work. As usual. But he looked ready for a fun night out. When I asked him to choose from the dress options I had in hand, his eyes immediately fell on the red mini dress and his expression said it all. He wanted to be proud to be with me tonight. Wearing that red dress. Open-backed and low-cut. Hugging my body and emphasizing my curves made me feel bold. When I highlighted my lips with dark red lipstick and left my hair down, I was more than pleased with the reflection in the mirror. Alexander's admiring gaze as he held my hand told me I'd made the right choice. Starting the evening like this stirred a sense of excitement within me. I'd never seen Amelia in John's newly purchased villa before. But when we arrived my eyes were dazzled. The grand entrance. Crystal chandeliers. The perfectly decorated living room. It was more like a dream than a house. The villa's enchanting atmosphere seemed to give that night a special meaning. It was nice to see familiar faces in the living room. Our friends were there, enjoying themselves and chatting. Then Alexander leaned in and whispered in my ear. "You already know the other two couples. But there's one couple. They are new to us." My eyes drifted to the other side of the room, trying to recall the moment we'd met the couple he mentioned. But I couldn't. They really were strangers to me. They sat side by side. Spee. When the man turned his head and we locked eyes, I felt a slight thrill. I'd always been a bit unsettled by the eyes of unknown men on me. But this was different. He had a strong, confident demeanor. And his gaze wasn't intrusive. Instead, it carried a kind of genuine curiosity. As if he wanted to know me. Despite the distance between us, I could sense that those eyes would meet mine repeatedly throughout the night. Knowing he was watching me brought an odd excitement, as everyone around me displayed the warm and familiar behaviors I was used to. Relaxing me. I found myself getting more captivated by his presence. As I sipped my drink, I noticed Alexander looking at me again. His gaze held a familiar expression. I sensed he wanted more from tonight. Alexander's eyes were on me. His gaze was familiar, yet carried an unusual intensity. I felt his excitement and curiosity. But there was something else behind it. Tonight could be different from any other night. He said quietly, leaning in close to my ear. I couldn't fully grasp the meaning of his words. But the distinct spark in his eyes both unsettled and intrigued me. Finally gathering my courage, I asked, "What do you mean? Alexander?" His eye sparkled slightly, and a mysterious smile spread across his face. "If we both want to," he said with a calm yet determined tone, "maybe we can try something new." My heart started pounding. I felt part of me resisting this suggestion, while another part was eager to explore this unfamiliar thrill. I wasn't expecting this. But in the face of Alexander's seriousness and excite, at that moment, my gaze drifted back to that unfamiliar couple. The man was watching me. Even from that distance, I could feel the warmth, confidence, and interest in his eyes. Alexander's gaze, the confidence that the dress gave me, and this strange attraction intensified the turmoil within me. I was torn with hesitation, yet somehow mysteriously drawn to him. "This is so crazy. Alexander," I whispered. "I know," he replied slowly, with a reassuring confidence in his eyes. "But it only happens if we both want it. And just think of it as an exploration. No one is being forced." His voice was comforting, and I found myself nodding slightly. In that moment, I realized I had made up my mind, that I was ready to let myself go into this new experience. After a moment, Alexander gently nudged me. "Go ahead. meet them with a look that was both encouraging and reassuring. My heart racing, I took a deep breath, trying to feel secure in the way my red dress hugged my body, and slowly walked over to the stranger. When I reached him, I leaned slightly and said, "Hi, I'm Isabella." The man looked up with a calm smile and extended his hand. "I'm Ethan, nice to meet you, Isabella," he said softly as he shook my hand. I felt a sudden warmth rise to my fingertips. The thrill of that simple touch was a bit unnerving. We locked eyes, and his gaze didn't leave me for a moment. Strangely at ease, I sat down beside him. "This evening is turning out a bit different from what I expected," I said with a slight smile, trying to hide the turmoil inside me. "If it weren't different, we wouldn't be here, right?" he replied. His words were clear and natural, but his gaze seemed as though he wanted to discover something about me. With a subtle smile on his lips, he openly expressed his interest. There was a self-assured yet unpressuring air about him. "This is my first time. I mean, a night like this." I started, but my sentence trailed off. "Don't worry," he said gently, his tone calming. "This is an exploration that'll go at your pace. It's the same for all of us. And everything is within your control." His words felt like a weight lifting off me. As the conversation between us flowed, the distance between us seemed to gradually disappear. With a faint smile on my lips and a growing curiosity in my heart as I looked at him, I knew I wouldn't be able to resist either the fear or the excitement I felt inside. Settling more comfortably into the seat beside him and sipping my drink, he moved closer to me with that calm yet captivating gaze where his interest was unmistakable. This unusual evening promised so much more than I'd anticipated, and I couldn't hold back from seeing where these feelings would lead. I noticed the other couples becoming more relaxed and intimate. What started with light jokes turned into deep gazes and increasingly bold touches. I watched as the couples around me, leaving their partners, approached others with a sense of excitement and curiosity. Laughter, whispers, and the thrill of newfound attraction filled the room with a different kind of excitement that completely transformed the atmosphere. A moment later, I saw Ethan's wife confidently walk over to Alexander and start a conversation with him. Watching them, I noticed Alexander responding to her, his gaze softer, his attention fully focused on her. The interaction developing between my husband and Ethan's wife stirred complex emotions within me. Yet an indescribable curiosity and excitement grew inside. At that moment, Ethan gently touched my arm and looked into my eyes. "Would you like to get away from here for a bit?" he asked in a calm yet compelling voice. I hesitated for a moment, then nodded slightly, and together we left the room and headed upstairs. When we reached a large bedroom, Ethan slowly closed the door and turned to face me. As I found myself alone with him in the quiet of the room, my heart started racing. Ethan slowly approached, a warm smile on his face and an unmistakable interest in his eyes. Leaning in, he whispered, "I'm happy to be here with you tonight." Under Ethan's warm and determined gaze, the excitement rising within me intensified. He slowly leaned in without breaking eye contact and placed a gentle kiss at the corner of my mouth. This delicate yet intense touch heightened the complex emotions inside me, and I decided to let myself fully experience this new adventure. As Ethan drew closer, I felt a thrill unlike anything I'd ever felt before. With a gentle yet assured move, he placed his hand on my waist and pulled me toward him. The space between us vanished completely. My heart was racing as his warm breath brushed my neck. Then, he leaned down and softly kissed my neck. This touch both surprised me and sparked an indescribable wave of excitement within. The feeling of security in Ethan's strong arms gave me even more courage. Casting aside all my doubts, I let my hands travel from Ethan's shoulders down to his strong muscular frame. As my fingers felt the muscles on his back, I could see the effect my touch had on him. Captivated by the closeness and the intensity between us, I surrendered myself completely to the moment. What happened with Ethan that night had happened, and I felt a strange emptiness within. I had drifted off next to him for about an hour. But when I woke up, the first thing I felt was a sense of questioning. What had I done? With countless questions echoing in my mind, I went downstairs. I wanted to see Alexander, to feel close to him again. But when I entered the living room, he wasn't there. The other couples were still in different rooms of the villa, absorbed in their own worlds with the marks of the night lingering on them. At that moment, I asked Ethan's wife where Alexander was. Her eyes sparkled, a happy smile on her lips. She told me he was sitting by the pool outside on one of the chairs. It wasn't an ordinary reaction. Seeing the contentment and joy in Ethan's wife's eyes triggered a familiar wave of jealousy inside me. I had a strong feeling that she and Alexander had shared something that night. I stepped into the villa's expansive garden and saw Alexander sitting by the pool. He sat with his head down, thoughtful and silent. As I approached him, he looked up. His eyes filled with a complicated expression. But he gave me a gentle smile. We locked eyes for a moment, and everything was silently spoken in that gaze. The events of the night had brought us to a different yet close place. We need to talk, don't we? Alexander said, taking a deep breath. We sat down and talked for a long time, sharing our feelings about that night, and maybe even things about ourselves that we hadn't recognized before. That night had left a deep mark on us, opening new doors in our relationship and bringing new questions. But Alexander told me that no matter what, he wanted to be by my side and that staying together was the most valuable thing for us. We understood the strength of our bond and realized that even after this experience, we could overcome anything together. As morning came, Alexander and I left the villa hand in hand, feeling the trust between us renewed. Even though the events of that night had shaken us deeply, this upheaval had brought us closer together as we faced the uncertainties brought by this experience. We felt much stronger now and believed that we could overcome anything as long as we were together.